Welcome back. East Tennessee faces a long recovery, the result of devastation from Hurricane Helene. Nearly a dozen Tennesseans have died in the storm. Nationally, nearly 200 people lost their lives. Now on the ground, 400 Tennessee National Guardsmen as the area struggles with washed out roads, little power or cell service, water and food shortages. It is the same story in several southern states ravaged by Helene. We have two reports, beginning with News 2's Capitol Hill reporter, Tori Gessner.
When the flood rose, Tennesseans rose to the challenge. Now that the water has receded, a different type of storm is just beginning.
There has been a significant response, and there is a tremendous amount of work to do.
The focus is on the survivors, from the National Guard to the Tennessee Department of Transportation, plus the hundreds of troopers, first responders, and countless organizations on the ground and in the air. The volunteer spirit is alive and well in Upper East Tennessee, where deadly floodwaters damaged at least 600 structures and took 9 lives and counting.
When you're there and you see the heartache of what has unfolded on the ground there, you become even more committed.
Crews are working to restore power to the 1,400 still without, also airdropping resources to those isolated by washed out roads, and applying for expedited federal disaster assistance. Meanwhile, dozens are still missing.
Like all of you, we're just trying to make sure that we find those that we can, rescue those that we can, and no matter what, bring closure to families who are suffering immeasurable heartbreak.
Many of the dead and missing, employees of Impact Plastics in Irwin. The TBI is now investigating the company after some claimed workers were forced to show up for their shifts despite the hurricane and weren't allowed to leave before floodwaters trapped them inside. The company has said, quote, "At no time were employees told they would be fired if they left the facility." Meanwhile, the state is facing questions about the timing of evacuations, warnings, and requests for federal assistance. Governor Lee coming to Tennessee's defense.
There has been a Herculean effort among the people on the ground there to in fact provide help for those survivors and to look for those, again, a remarkable effort to look for those who may not have survived.
Reporting in Nashville, I'm Tori Gessner.
Tonight, 5 days after Helene's terrifying floods, with the scope of the devastation becoming more clear, President Biden seeing the destruction firsthand today, flying over the hardest hit areas to avoid disruptions after announcing he's deploying 1,000 active duty troops to the storm zone.
I'm here to say the United States, the nation, has your back. The nation has your back. We're not leaving your back on your feet completely.
The soldiers will deploy to the hardest hit areas, joining the more than 6,000 National Guard troops from 12 states already there.
5 days since Helene hit, and much of the area still looks like this. Shipping containers tossed around, bridges blocked by debris, roads looking more like ravines, and communities still cut off.
We have no way out.
In Fairview, North Carolina, the bridge leading to this neighborhood, gone.
I ran down 2 lines because, one, you can't get as much grip.
Philip Morgan showing us the makeshift system of ropes he's been using to rappel in and out. His brother is on a ventilator in need of supplies.
President Biden plans to visit other hard-hit states soon. Vice President Kamala Harris touring the storm damage in Augusta, Georgia today. She also has plans to visit North Carolina in the coming days. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Fairview, North Carolina.
Stay with us. This week continues in a moment.